Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Fantasy Island. It's got very, very bad reviews, or at least low scores, 4.9 on IMDb. Has Michael Peña in it, Lucy Hale, Maggie Q, a couple of people, right? It is, I don't want to say a remake, but Fantasy Island was a TV show, over 150 episodes, from 1977 to 1984. How do I know this? Because I used to watch it at night when it would come on. It came on after another really good show. I forget what that was. But anyway, and it's about Ricardo Montalban was the host of Fantasy Island, and he had a little friend, and every time the plane would come over, if you haven't heard, it's the plane, and land with all these people, people who were chosen to come to the island, and he would have their greatest fantasies come to life. Whatever it was. There was always some trouble and stuff going on and things like that, but, he always made their dreams come true. Well, this is the horror version of that. Evidently, they come to have their dreams come true and something bad's going to happen, so I don't know. It's an hour and 49 minutes long. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, I used to watch this show. I was surprised when I read, oh, it's in the 70s. How did I watch it then? But it was also in the 80s, up until 1984, so I wish I could remember what came on before Fantasy Island. But I'm going to Google it and let you know at our first check-in. So let me get into it, find out what it's really about, if there's any different than what I already told you, and then ultimately I'll let you know what I think. So stick around. I'm excited. Hey everybody, going to do a quick check-in here watching Fantasy Island. We're at the 42-minute, 20-second mark. The reason I kind of stopped it, not much more to tell, except for what we already know. A couple of people came to the island, to live out these fantasies, and Michael Peña is playing the ambassador of Fantasy Island, Ricardo Montalban's role. And so they're all going through their fantasy, but of course at some point they're going to all change, because it's like supposed to be scary or a horror movie, and some of their fantasies have already changed. And some of them have really lend themselves to a horror movie. And I'll give you an example. One guy wants to be a soldier. So, that's kind of an easy one. Whereas, some of the other ones are a little bit more difficult to see how they're going to swing it into something scary. But at least two of them are like, what? And so they're going through all that, and we're starting to learn a little bit more about what their fantasies are, and then how do they switch them into a horror-type situation. But two things. One, it's surround sound. And sometimes I get surround sound, sometimes I don't get it. Depends on how I watch it. This one's working, which is great. And like I said, he's a soldier, and there's just one part where they're shooting guns, and it sounded surround. Now, maybe all of you get that all the time, but there was the original shot felt like it was coming at me. Like the way I jumped. It was pretty cool. So I like that. So watch out for that if you do watch this movie. If you have a good surround system, you'll enjoy that. And then there's also another jump scene too. So I got jumped again. I got scared. So, something happened. I was like, ooh. So I like that. If something's going to scare me, I didn't expect it in these movies. And that's where we are. There's some stories I'm kind of interested in. Some I'm not. There's two brothers that come to the island, and I forget the one actor's name. I'll look it up. Oh, real quick, I did look up to see what came before Fantasy Island back in the 70s and 80s. The Love Boat. I would watch The Love Boat and then Fantasy Island. That's why I was so excited to see this. But it's something completely different, but they try and tie it in a little bit. But anyway, there's two brothers on the island. I'm not crazy about their story so far, but I won't go into too much detail right now. Let me get back into it a little bit more. There's over an hour left, so I might pop in again if anything more interesting happens, but the gunshot made me want to pause it and tell you about it. So either way, I'll see you at the end and give you my final thoughts. So stick around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Fantasy Island, and I have to say, this movie was humming along for me, and I was just questioning why the low scores, right? I committed myself to the fact that this is not the Fantasy Island that I watched as a kid on TV. It is the Blumhouse version, so I know that going in, and I think that's a great creative idea. Take something that was there in the past, and instead of mimicking it or recreating it exactly, change it a bit and make it something else. And so that's what they did. They took the theory of Fantasy Island and they turned it into a, I don't want to say horror, but yeah, horror film, whatever, kind of thing. And it was working. I was deciding what characters I liked and their fantasies I believed in a sense. And then I was like, there's other ones like that one doesn't make any sense, or I don't really like these characters and what they're doing, and then trying to think, okay, how are they going to flip it so it all gets crazy, right? And the Blumhouse feel comes into effect. And I was just humming along, enjoying it, and I was like, I don't get it, why people didn't like it. Well, I'm going to say there's anywhere from the 35 to 40 minute mark left in the film, because I actually looked at it once I realized what was going on. And I think there was 35 minutes left. So there might have been a little bit of a grace period there. But I'm talking, think about it, 40 minutes left in the movie. Things start to change. And they bring in other elements to the film that just, I don't know, ruined it. They had something. And maybe people agree with me or not. Maybe, people are, they believe it should always be the way it was. I forget, naturalist maybe. I don't know, but that it should stay with the theme. But I'm okay with it deviating down the horror film. It's just when they did that, they messed it up further down the line. It's like all this crazy, just a couple of, there's not that much. So there's 35 minutes left. And this isn't going to spoil it for you, I don't think at all. Zombies, I don't think were needed. Doppelgangers don't make any sense. The twist that they show you, okay, one, alright. The second one, and the guy even has a really good comment after the second one. It's just like, what? You gotta be kidding me. And I don't want to tell you any more than that, because when it comes to the final, what's going on here type moment, you're gonna be like, are you kidding me? I can't believe that this is some gaps, some holes, some confusion on what's happening here. And I don't want to ruin it for you, because if you're going to watch it, you're going to want to see where this takes you. But I saw what they tried to do. But there's some gaps and confusion that I don't even care. I don't care about it. Like I said, in the twists and stuff like that, at that point it was like, it was past that. I thought they had something good there. I think if they could go back and change that, stay with where they were going, and with the last 35 minutes, just finish what you started. Keep it down the path. The mercenaries, that was the other piece of it. It was like these mercenary guys, not needed. They were needed for one piece of the film, for a certain person's fantasy, but they stayed too long, and I don't know why they stuck around, their purpose in the movie actually changed, which was odd, and that goes with everything else that I said, all the crazy stuff that they went on. So I know it's hard. You're probably like, I have no idea what he's talking about. But what I can tell you is the first hour is actually interesting if you get past the fact that it's not Fantasy Island. The acting isn't terrible, except for the two brothers didn't like their story. So maybe you will. I didn't. And then after that it just gets crazy, and it's like somebody got drunk or did some drugs and wrote the rest of it. That's what it feels like. They one last piece, if you know the original show and you know the two main characters from that show, they try and do something cute at the end for that purpose. I thought it was cute, but they could have done better again. So a lot of foreshadowing for that moment, and you'll see what I mean there. But other than that, I don't think I just want to see if I have that actor's name real quick, if I can get it here. Real quick for the brothers that just got to me there. Sorry, I'm delaying it. Okay. So It's Ryan Hansen. You'll recognize him. He's been in a lot of different things, and his brother is Jimmy O. Yang. I know him. I think he was from Heroes, maybe. No, not Heroes. I don't know. Whatever. Their storyline I didn't enjoy, and their acting and everything that happens there. So what do I tell you? What I tell you, it was a 6 or a 7 to drop down to a 3 or a 4 when you watch it. Like, stop. I like to do this sometimes. How about this one for you? If you're going to watch this movie, you haven't seen it yet, and you want to see my review, I might recommend watch it until there's 40 minutes left. Maybe 37 minutes. Stop it there. And then write how you would want it to end. Or not end, how you would want it to continue. Or at least imagine. Pause the film there and think about how you would enjoy seeing it go further. And then turn it off. That might be fun. I don't know. Maybe there was 2 different writers, 2 different directors, like Justice League, that kind of stuff. Who knows? But that's all. I can't ramble on anymore. If you check it, here was my last piece. If you've seen Fantasy Island, the TV show, you're almost required to watch it, right? I mean, you have to if you've seen that show. But go into it knowing it's nothing like the show. They small references, and then they build a whole different story arc with that. And that's it. I think I've given you all the other advice that I can. If you do end up watching it, please drop me some comments. What did you think? Did you like the movie? What did you think about that last 35-40 minutes when everything goes crazy? All the little pieces that I kind of laid out for you. Didn't that just ruin it? Or did you happen to enjoy it? And what did I miss that you really liked? I like Michael Peña. I'll watch him in anything. So, but otherwise, that's it. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, and then subscribe to my channel and tell your friends. Hopefully I was helpful tonight, but maybe not. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.